Number 10. For Your Eyes Only. Let me regale you with the cinematic delight that is for your eyes only. Picture this: you at the movie theater, and in walks this film thinking it's the bee's knees with its sober outing and satisfying adventure. Sure, it's got Roger Moore doing his thing, but let's be real, the chemistry is as dry as the popcorn I sweep up after every show. Brace yourselves for the walking embodiment of overrated suaveness, James Bond, indulging in his usual globe-trotting shenanigans. It's a cocktail of underwater stunts, mountain climbing mishaps, and another round of femme fatale swooning over Mr. Bond. This flick's got more chases than a dog park and action sequences that'll make you feel like you've binge-watched every predictable spy flick ever made. But hey, if you're into recycled plots, one-dimensional characters, and Bond's consistent inability to maintain a healthy relationship, then grab your popcorn, folks, it's time for another round of 007's escapades. Just don't expect it to be the talk of the town like the Sean Connery classics, or the visual spectacles of the Roger Moore era. It's a respectable product from the 007 production line, but it's no blockbuster, if you catch my drift. Number 9. You Only Live Twice. Fasten your seatbelts, fellow Bond fans, for the roller coaster that is You Only Live Twice. Imagine this: James Bond, the seemingly invincible spy, globe-trotting once again in a spectacle that's as predictable as a grand finale at a fireworks show. It's like watching reruns set to a background of flashy gadgets, a mishmash of exotic locales, and a checklist of cliché spaceships, check. Cookie-cutter supervillains, check. Explosions galore, check. Yet, it's undeniably eye-catching with its glitzy gadgets, flamboyant sets, and enough action to keep you from nodding off in the front row. Think of it as the fast food equivalent of cinema entertaining. It leaves you yearning for more, but not exactly a gourmet experience. So here's to predictability in the name of entertainment. Meanwhile, You Only Live Twice tries to capture that elusive Bond mystique, but it's a space mission of a movie, stretching longer than it should. Sean Connery does his Bond thing, but the film feels like an extravagant spectacle, fancy but lacking substance. The plot seems to have taken a holiday, leaving us with a lot of flashy gadgets and a scarcity of charm. Yet, it's not all space junk. There's a showdown between Bond and Blofeld, adding a pinch of excitement. In theaters now, You Only Live Twice, where gadgets overflow, plots dwindle, and charms in short supply. Enjoy the spectacle. 8. Thunderball. Ladies and gents, get ready for the underwater thrill ride that is Thunderball. This cinematic dive is a smorgasbord of swimming competitions and slow-motion showdowns that'll make you feel like you're watching a turtle race. James Bond's back at it again, plunging into trouble deeper than your cousin at a family reunion. With a plot recycled more times than bargain bin DVDs, this flick serves up the classic Bond formula: exotic spots, flashy gadgets, and damsels in distress. Do they offer scuba gear with the theater seats? But hold on to your popcorn, folks, because as a theater usher, I'll spill the beans. Thunderball is a shaken, not stirred, mix of action and underwater escapades. Sean Connery's Bond dives deep to tackle Spectre, all while oozing sophistication in his tucks. The deliberate pace lets you savor every moment. And let's not forget the breathtaking visuals and John Barry's epic score, making this movie a visual and auditory spectacle. Sure, there's a surplus of underwater scenes, but who knew 007 could pull off scuba diving? So, grab your snacks, folks, and brace yourself for a splash of 007 excitement. 7. They Spy Who Loved Me. Let me spin you a tale about the spy who loved me from the view of a movie theater worker. This film strolled into our joint with all the confidence of a leading man, offering a campy delight full of thrills and fun. Despite its forgettable plot, the movie was a blast, boasting dated fashion, effects, and a hint of smutty humor that aged worse than yesterday's popcorn. Yet, if you wanted a wild ride after watching Star Wars, this was the ticket. It wasn't flawless, but those 2 hours were a mix of genuine fun and so bad it's good moments. We had a great villain, Stunning Bond babes, action grander than life, and an iconic theme that stuck in your head like the jingle for our butter dispenser. It's a Bond film worth adoring, so grab your popcorn and dive into this larger-than-life spy adventure. Picture James Bond strutting through jaw-dropping stunts and spy drama that had us ushers contemplating our careers. With gadgets as extra as our buttered popcorn and a villain as melodramatic as a silent movie star, this film was the hot topic at the concession stands. The plot might have been as predictable as the sleepy regular in the front row, but the spectacle was like a cosmic collision of car chases, posh locales, and one-liners smoother than our heartthrob usher. Those sets. They outshone our lobby, dazzling us with glitz like a Hollywood premiere. The Spy Who Loved Me sauntered out, leaving us with tales galore, and a crowd entertained more than spilled soda in Theatre 7. 6. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. As a theatre usher, let me regale you with the curious case of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Picture this: a Bond flick without the usual swagger of Sean Connery, but featuring the lesser-known George Lazenby. Now, don't get me wrong, Lazenby has his moments, but stepping into Connery's suave shoes is like trying to fit a size 9 foot into a size 7 shoe, a bit of a squeeze. Yet, against all odds, Lazenby's earnestness brings a new flavor to the character, even if it feels like a guest star in the Bond universe. The movie itself is a rollercoaster ride through the Swiss Alps, boasting breathtaking vistas and action sequences that make you wish you had a parachute handy. The ski chases are thrilling, but you might find yourself wondering if Bond is a spy or a professional skier by the end of it all. And don't even get me started on the romance, it's more melodramatic than a soap opera marathon. Despite some forgettable moments and an ending that hits like a sudden plot twist, On Her Majesty's Secret Service is an intriguing chapter in the Bond saga. It may not have the flair of its predecessors, but it carves its own niche, leaving us pondering whether a fresh face can carry the legacy of the tuxedo-wearing legend. So, grab your ticket, buckle up, and prepare for a Bond adventure that's as unpredictable as a shaken martini. 5. Dr. No. As a theatre usher, let me dish the scoop on Dr. No, the flick that launched the legendary James Bond saga. Picture this: Sean Connery making his smashing debut as Bond, a suave secret agent who set the bar high for the 007 franchise. The film's got this fantastic blend of intrigue, action, and just the right sprinkle of cheeky charm. From the iconic introduction where Bond lights his cigarette like he's a living work of art, to the quippy one-liners that'll make you chuckle into your popcorn, it's pure gold. And let's not overlook the gorgeous Honey Rider emerging from the sea in that scene-stealing bikini. It practically made theatre seats sizzle. Now, the plot might not be rocket science, revolving around a villain with a flair for the dramatic and a crab claw for a hand, but it's all part of the Bond allure, isn't it? The exotic Jamaican locales and the intriguing underwater sequences will transport you to a world of intrigue and danger. The film's aged like a fine wine, maintaining its charisma despite the passage of time. Dr. No might be your dad's Bond flick, but it's as cool as Connery's demeanor, leaving a lasting impression that sets the stage for the epic 007 adventures to follow. So, buckle up, grab your ticket, and immerse yourself in the beginning of a cinematic legend. 4. From Russia with Love. From Russia with Love, a cinematic jewel in the illustrious James Bond franchise, sauntered onto our theatre screens with the grace of a secret agent making a grand entrance. Picture this: Sean Connery, the man embodying 007, exudes a suaveness that puts the butter on our popcorn to shame. The film lures you into a world brimming with espionage, betrayals, and high-stakes thrills, enough to keep even the most vigilant usher on the edge of their seat with their popcorn forgotten in hand. But let's talk about the real star here, the plot. It's as tangled as a bucket of unraveled film, weaving a web of deceit that rivals the entanglements of our theatre's headphone wires. And the action. From those unforgettable moments on the Orient Express to the riveting face-offs, it's a symphony of tension and adrenaline that deserves a standing ovation. However, one can't ignore the lack of the usual explosive flair we've come to expect from Bond flicks. Who needs firecrackers when you've got Connery's charm setting the screen ablaze? The film's vintage charm, like a classic film reel, might not be for everyone, but it's an engaging romp through the Cold War era, leaving us all wondering if our real-life escapades could ever match those of MI6's most famous spy. As the credits roll, one thing's for certain: From Russia with Love isn't just a movie, it's a cinematic cocktail, shaken, stirred, and leaving you yearning for more Bond adventures. 3. Goldfinger. Goldfinger, where do I start? As a theatre usher, let me tell you, this flick is the crown jewel of Bond classics. Picture this: the charismatic Sean Connery struts in as 007, delivering those suave one-liners that practically set the screen on fire. The opening sequence is iconic. It hooks you right in with a mesmerizing blend of action and espionage that makes you forget you're just here to clean spilled soda. Now, let's talk about Goldfinger himself, a villain so sharp, he could cut through a steel door with his wit alone. His scheme is more elaborate than the line at the concession stand on half-price ticket night. Bond's got more toys than a kid on Christmas, and they are as thrilling as watching the finale of a fireworks show. The movie's pacing is tighter than the boss's grip on theatre rules during blockbuster premieres. The Bond girls are utterly mesmerizing and so captivating that they make the theatre aisles feel like the catwalk at a fashion show. But let's not forget the pièce de résistance, the Aston Martin. It's not just a car, it's a statement, and it steals the spotlight. From the iconic lines to the glamorous settings and that notorious gold paint, Goldfinger is the Bond film that has audiences glued to their seats, leaving us ushers scrambling to clean up the popcorn between the rounds of applause. Trust me, this movie's a theatrical masterpiece, a gold standard in the world of spy cinema that keeps the audience coming back for more thrilling Bond adventures. 2. Casino Royale. Welcome to the breathtaking world of Casino Royale, where James Bond's charm is as lethal as his precision. As a theatre usher, I've seen my fair share of movie magic, but this one takes the cake. Picture this: Daniel Craig, our rugged 007, emerges with an intensity that could rival 100 thunderstorms, redefining Bond with an air of raw grit and sophistication. This flick isn't just your typical action-packed thrill ride, it's a symphony of espionage, high-stakes gambling, and heart-stopping escapades that had the audience at the edge of their seats. The film doesn't just rely on Craig's charisma, it's a clever blend of gritty realism and heart-pounding action. From the dazzling casino scenes to the breathtaking stunts, seriously, that park-hour chase sequence had the crowd gasping. Casino Royale nails it. And Eva Green as Vesper Lind is not just another Bond girl, she's the perfect match for our 00 agent, adding layers of depth and emotion. Mads Mikkelsen's portrayal of the villainous Le Chiffre is utterly mesmerizing. The tension between him and Bond is palpable, making the high-stakes poker games feel more intense than a ticking time bomb. And can we talk about the Aston Martin DBS? It's not just a car, it's a symbol of Bond's exquisite taste and penchant for adventure. Sure, some die-hard Bond aficionados might pine for the classic gadgets and martinis, but Casino Royale breathes new life into the franchise. The action is visceral, the plot tight-knit, and the characters steal the show. For me, it's a popcorn-worthy spectacle that keeps you glued to the screen till the very last card is dealt. So, grab your tickets and prepare for a thrill ride, because Casino Royale is a surefire winner in the 007 saga. Number 1, Skyfall. As a theatre usher, let me tell you about Skyfall. It's the kind of film that makes you think, wow. James Bond's still got it. Daniel Craig is back as the suave 007, and this time, it's a whole new game. The movie kicks off with a bang, literally, with an adrenaline-pumping chase through Istanbul that hooks you right from the start. The villain, Silva, played by Javier Bardem, steals the show with his eerie charisma and unpredictable nature. It's like having a magnet pull you towards both fear and fascination whenever he's on screen. And let's not forget Judi Dench as M, delivering a performance that's pure gold. The plot twists and turns like a thrilling rollercoaster ride, taking you on a journey of espionage, betrayal, and redemption. The cinematography is spectacular. Those breathtaking scenes in Scotland are like a visual feast for the eyes, making you want to book your next vacation there pronto. But hey, it's not just the action-packed sequences that shine, the quieter, more emotional moments hit home just as hard. Adele's hauntingly beautiful theme song adds that extra oomph, setting the perfect tone for Bond's return to the spotlight. Overall, Skyfall is a triumphant comeback, blending classic Bond elements with a fresh perspective, leaving audiences both shaken and stirred in the best possible way.